Now he's trying to get to become world champion for the second time.
He's never going to be a world champion again. He's too old now.
Well, Lipinets is tough.
It wouldn't shock me if Lipinets wins.
It would be a surprise. I don't think it's a shock.
I mean, there is a lot of talk around AZIM, AZIM.
You're fighting a world class level fighter.
He's not world class level now.
He might not be now, but he has been.
There's a fine balance of knowing when to step up and who to step up with, and is it the right time?
If Azim's done his work and all the things, they should know it's a tough fight. Welcome back to BoxCast. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the upcoming fight between AZIM and Sergei LIPINETS, which is taking place at Wembley Arena in London on the 1st of February 2025. I'll start with a tail of the tape. Azim's record is perfect. It's 12 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws. So he's had 12 fights in total, 9 wins by KO. He's age 23. He's 5'10", 178 centimeters. He's approximately 71 inch reach, 180 centimeters. And this is at super lightweight, so it's 140 pounds, which is 63.5 kilograms. And he fights at an orthodox stance. Lipinets has got 18 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. He's had 22 fights in total and 13 wins by KO. He's age 35. He's 5'7", which is 170 centimeters. He's 67 inch reach, which is 170 centimeters. And yeah, it's 140 pounds. And he fights out of an orthodox stance. So Simon, a step up in class for AZIM, or from what he's thought before, or what do you think?
Not too sure.
Sergei Lipinets is a belt holder, was a world champion at super middleweight. So, and then he has flitted with other things. He got beat by Mikey Garcia, who took the belt off him. But Mikey Garcia is a pretty damn good boxer. Yeah, and he's won most of his others, and then he's drawn one with Custio Clayton, which is a majority draw. And then he's got KO'd, but I think he stepped up to welterweight and then got KO'd by Boots Ennis. Then I think come back, won, and then he's had points loss, unanimous decision to Mikel Rivera, and then he's won again. And now he's trying to get to become world champion for the second time.
Not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. That's what you think.
It's not going to happen. He's never going to be a world champion again. He's too old now.
He is, yeah. When he was world champion, it was the prime of his career. Mikey Garcia fought him at the prime of his career. And it was a good fight, but yeah, Garcia is just that bit better. And I think he beat him and became Mikey Garcia, became 4-weight world champion.
It is a step up in class for AZIM.
The thing is he's got to be beating people like this if he is world class. This is a good measure of are you world class?
Yeah, I mean, this is 13th fight.
Yeah.
So it is a good step up. I think he's just going to be too young and fresh, though. But he'll learn a lot from this fight, though.
Well, Lipinets is tough. So
yeah, he's only been stopped once by Boots.
And that was when he stepped up in weight. And I think he realised there's too big a jump in weight and he's come back. So at lightweight, he hasn't actually been stopped. And he's been against some good fighters. And he's beaten some good fighters. He's lost to some good fighters. He's beaten some good fighters.
The thing is Lipinets, if he loses this, that's it for him.
Yeah.
That is it for him.
Problem with super lightweight is who do you beat? Because it's quite a good division. So yeah, I think it is. If he loses here, well, I think if he wins, it's a bit of a shock, and I think if he loses, it's
not a bit of a shock, if he wins. I think people seem to forget. Yeah, AZIM's good, but it's only in his 13th fight.
Well, that's what I meant. He's stepping up in.
Yeah, so
this is a former world title holder, which I don't think he's thought before.
It's not going to be a massive shock if Lipinets wins. I can't see him winning, but it's not going to be a shock if he does.
No, I think there's quite a lot of routes to. Well, he's tough. Like you said, a super lightweight, he hasn't been knocked out. He knows he's been in there with good fighters. He knows how to fight. He keeps going, even like Garcia was slamming him with some good punches. But he still keeps going. Even he got knocked down, he still gets up and carries on. Welterweight, like we said, is a bit far, and Boots is probably the best welterweight there is there at that moment, in this moment. So getting knocked out by him is not a huge shock either. But a super lightweight, I think, it's a good, tough challenge. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's the freshness, and I think speed and freshness and the skill level of Adam Azim should get him over the line here. But I think he may at points be in deep waters.
He's got to stick to the game plan that his corner come up with. Yeah. He's got to not get disheartened if he catches this guy clean and doesn't knock him out. He's got to use his footwork really well, his jab. He has got a lovely jab. Stay out the pocket, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you want to trade. Not at the beginning anyway, definitely.
I mean, he does like a bit of a scrap from time to time.
Yeah, I think once you've tied him out a bit.
Yeah.
The thing Lipinets is like is body shots. And obviously if you're moving and you're thinking, you've got to be careful you're not absorbing too many of them, because then he will, it's going to slow you down.
Yeah, it's where I think...
And he's quite good at delivering the body shots. And he has got I think he was known as what is his nickname? The Samurai, isn't it? Because he's got I think it's a bit of two things, because he's got a kickboxing background. And then he was like KOing everybody in his like earlier fights. So
what's that got to do with being a samurai? Stupid
I
nicknames.
think because the kickboxing thing, because I think the martial arts skill. Because I think it was kickboxing before he changed to boxing, and the other thing is I think is because he's used to taking knees and kicks, so he's like quite robust from punches, but everybody can be taken out. So yeah, I think it's a step up. I think you would.
Yeah, it is a good step up. Is it too soon? Most probably not. With Ben Shalom, his promoters absolutely raving about him if he is that good.
Well, it's an opportunity for a world title. All right, the IBO world title.
It's not a world title. It's not a world title.
It's IBO world super light.
It's not a world title.
Vacant. So
I wish people would get that out of their heads. The IBO is not a world title.
That's what it says. I'm reading.
We'll go on Wikipedia and change it.
Yeah.
No, it's a good step up. I think good fight for him. He could learn a lot from this fight. He's going to have to pace himself.
Yeah, I think this one could be. He can get taken the distance. So
don't try and just take him out straight away. I don't think he will anyway. I mean, even in his last fight against O'Hara Davis.
Yeah, he seems to have a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah, he did impress me
to his corner
for a young lad. And if he wins, it's is it a massive statement? No. But it's a statement.
I think it's a statement. It's not a massive statement.
On a domestic level that...
No, I think it is a statement because Lipinets is good. I mean, I don't know how much is left in the tank. I've seen him in earlier, 5-10 years ago when he was like, about 6 years ago when he was a champion, and he's been beaten. So he's a tough cookie. So I think it's a statement. It's not a massive statement because, like I said, most people are probably, because if you look at the betting, it's minus whatever it is. He's quite a good favourite. Minus 590, which is 1-6, isn't it? And Lipinets is 4-1, so plus 400, which is,
big odds.
That's quite big for how.
It's either
I would expect him to be favourite, but a bit less than that.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of talk around Adam Azim. He is.
I think this is opportunity to step up. You're fighting a world class level fighter. I mean, he has had a couple of them that, but I think he's gone up to like the European level.
He's not world class level now.
He might not be now, but he has been. We have seen some of these pull out, like Breedis and who's the one who beat the heavyweight one that did it, Dave Allen. They pulled out like a Lions performance despite the age.
Yeah, I mean, and
So
it's like you say,
it's not straightforward.
that's why I said
if you take it easy.
It wouldn't shock me if Lipinets wins.
Yeah.
It really wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, a shock is probably wrong. It would be a surprise. I don't think it's a shock.
You know,
if Azim's done his work and all the things, they should know it's a tough fight.
there's a fine balance of knowing when to step up and who to step up with.
Yeah.
And is it the right time? I think it's good matchmaking. Like I say, I think Adam Azim will learn a lot from this. Win, lose or draw. Like you say, for Lipinets, it's dangerous because I think if he wins, if he does win this, it doesn't put him back in the mix as such, but it gives him he's another little step closer.
Yeah.
To getting another big fight.
Well, I think the point of fighting for Azim is to get into that. You know, you're in the contender then, isn't it, for the top level fights? Because it's quite a stacked division.
Problem is,
Teofimo Lopez.
Don't even look at them.
Hitchens.
Don't even look at them because he hasn't taken care of the British side of it yet.
Yeah.
Or the European side. So there's no point looking at the world level fighters. He's got a long, long way to go. Like I say, I'm sure there's a few British fighters in that division that think they'll be able to take Adam Azim on. So,
well, I think Dalton Smith is the one that's been. They've had some to and fro.
Exactly. So we can't,
I think Cattrall's looking to higher up, and Cattrall is ahead in his.
Cattrall's miles ahead.
And he's got his big fight coming.
But look, this is what I mean. He's in his 13th fight. But look at them fights in his 20th, 21st fight. Don't be in such a rush. Because you've...
Well, I don't think they are. I think it's going up in scale, isn't it? Because this is a step up, and then you've got to do a fair few steps up before you get to that top table.
He's got a long way to go.
But it's a tough division. It was more. I was making a point about Lipinets. You've got still a tough stacked division. There's, you might, if he wins, if he's caught Azim it's too early for Azim. But you've got to look at the other fighters in it, and it's like, yeah, I'm not sure you beat any of them really. Unless you get a lucky day.
But the thing is for the world champions, he'd be a fight that they'd likely take because they'll think it's an easier night's work, possibly. But we'll see.
Well, I think if he gets past Azim, it's a tough night's work for him. And Azim, obviously, young, hungry fighter, so it's a tough night's work. I mean, yeah, but I agree with you. I don't think he's quite... He hasn't got enough experience to be at these guys' level yet. Because none of them are easy. You look at all of them and have got, more experience, better fights. There's talk of Richardson, Hitchens, but again, I think that's a bit too soon after this.
Again, the thing is if he wins this, he's got massive fights in the UK. There's huge fights there, big payday fights. And preview the best in Britain. You haven't done that yet. Preview the best in Britain. And
outside of Jack Cattrall.
Yeah. And then...
I think it's too early to fight Cattrall. Yeah. I think
like you say, there's some really good domestic fights for him there, I think, and we'll may possibly see them this year after this.
Probably two good Aussie ones as well. Cambosis and Paro.
Exactly.
Which will be big fights now that... Well, Cambosis has got name. Paro's probably got a bit of name now, which you could do here if you want to have a, you could get them here. It's probably bigger than going to Aussie, but you could do an Oz, get used to traveling.
Yeah.
And then there's, like I said, Dalton Smith. They've had some, words, and then there's probably a few other people as well.
Exactly.
List. So yeah. So I think there's a bit to go, but a good step up, isn't it? And so,
yeah, it is.
What do you think is going to happen then?
Majority decision, Azim.
Majority decision, okay. I'll go for unanimous decision, Azim. I think he's just going to be too fast. I think getting him out of there is quite hard, but I think he's just going to be a bit too young, fresh and fast.
Yeah.
So as much as Lipinets can hit back, I think even in his prime, he wasn't that. He's got good punches. Like I said, body targets well. But like you can see like in some of his fights, when he's come up against people who've got real combinations and hand speed, Garcia was hitting him at will. And the punch they get through is like the 1-2. If you see, because Garcia had a good jab as well, isn't it? But he ranged with the jab, bang, straight right. Or when he was coming in, catch him with a left hook. And he was getting caught with it all the time. So, and in some of his other fights, that's why I think, what's his name? Boots caught him with as well, isn't it? He steps in and then his right hand is too low. Did his openings, but he is quite tough because he gets hit and then gets back up again. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's there. And then afterwards, we think clear up either British or get the fight contenders, isn't it? The other sort of potential contenders or past contenders.
Again, I mean, I don't want to bring it up. It all depends on Ben Shalom, and because he's a bit.
Yeah, let's ignore him. Just what would we think? Because if you take him into account, we're never going to work out what it is. Yeah, basically, I think our opinion is the top table is like there's, what is it, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. There's about 7 or 8 of the top table who are probably maybe more, even top 10. I think he's probably he's got to go a bit the level below that and then step up. Although Paro is still in like 6th level or something.
I wouldn't remember Paro yet.
No. I think it's, like Smith or somebody, isn't it? Or the other people at the European level, and then you go into the...
You can't beat a proper good British domestic bust up. It's great.
Who would you like to see?
Dalton Smith.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I'd love to see that fight. I think that's a great fight.
Richardson Hitchens? I think it's too soon.
No, that's another great fight.
Um,
Adam Ziem will think he can beat both of them.
Well, I think he does.
Yeah.
Well, they've had... I think in his interview scene, isn't it? There's obviously Dalton Smith call-outs, but there's some... whatever, there's probably ranging, or whether they're just getting it warming up for that. And then Hitchens is the other one that he sort of said. But again, Hitchens is a good boxer, high-level skill.
Hitchens and Azim would be a good fight.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I think there's any more to say in that. So, that's on the 1st of Feb. So, watch Sporter. British fighter. There's a Kazakh fighter, although I think he lives in America now, Lipinets. So, interesting fight. Yeah, I think it's a good measure of whether Azim is approaching world class. I mean, looking at him, you would say he is, but yeah, I think it's a good
You never know, do you?
Well, you've got to prove it, and that's it's a chance to prove it.
Prove it on the night.
And I think then there's a few of the steps up before you can go to the top of this table. And I think there are quite some tasty fights, I think, being made in this, which we will discuss later on as they get confirmed.
Yeah.
We have Tio, with Haney, there's other people involved. Catrall's got one coming up, and it's quite a tasty division. Okay, thank you very much for, you're going to do your subscribe bit. So subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Is it a step too far? Do you think, are we underestimating Lipinets? Or is the betting underestimating Lipinets? What do you think of Azim's chances, and where do you think he will go, and where do you think he should go next? Who he should fight after, assuming he comes through this with a win? And what you think of the division as well, because super lightweight is quite, there's quite a lot of characters in there, and we know we have fans from a few of those, So let us know what you think, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.